On Global TV News Express, President Tinubu meets Macron, seeks stronger collaboration. In business, global oil supply hits record high in August. And on the foreign scene, Ghana agrees to accept West Africans deported from United States. In sport, Nigerians back Amundsen Brom-led team for Tokyo 2025. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express and Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on the STV channel 365 and Star Times 276. President Bola Tinubu says his meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron at the LC Palace was productive, with both leaders reviewing cooperation in key areas. Tinubu disclosed that Nigeria and France agreed to deepen their partnership for mutual prosperity and global stability. The visit comes as Tinubu began a 10-day working vacation split between France and the United Kingdom. The Department of State Service has arraigned two Ansaru commanders, Mahmoud Usman, and also known as Abu Bara Abbas, and his deputy, Mahmoud Al-Nigeri, on terrorism charges. The suspect faced a 22-count charge at the Federal High Court in Abuja over the 22 attack on the Nigerian Army's Weaver Cantonment in Kanji, Niger State, and alleged training in Mali and Libya. They are also accused of masterminding the 2022 Kuje prison attack, planning an assault on a Niger uranium facility, multiple kidnapping, and armed robbery. Justice Emeka Nwete is presiding over the trial. The Minister of State for Agriculture, Food Security, Sabi Abdullahi, has urged journalists covering the National Assembly to exercise caution and accuracy in their reportage to avoid misleading the public. The minister gave the advice at a one-day capacity building workshop on parliamentary reporting in Abuja. Topsy Gimba reports.
Speaking at the capacity building workshop on parliamentary reporting organized by the Senate Press Corps in Abuja, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Sabi Abdullahi, emphasized that the parliamentary reporting is a specialized bit requiring intellectual depth and responsibility. He maintained that the legislature remains the hallmark of democratic governance and enjoined reporters to play their role, strengthen the institution rather than undermining it.
His vision is for us to have food sovereignty. Within the ambit of food security, you go for food sovereignty, which means you are sufficiently producing your commodities or your produce yourself, and you are making it available for your citizens in an affordable level and accessible at the same time.
Also, addressing participants, the Presidential Liaison Officer on National Assembly Matters, Senator Dr. Ita Ennang, encouraged journalists to familiarize themselves with legislative processes through the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies in order to enhance accuracy.
Reporting has been the penchant for the media to give less attention to bills and legislative measures, but rather focus on soft side of the news from the legislature. Even when the least attention is given to a legislative measure, it is the soft, of course, and indeed the least relevant measure to the bills under consideration.
In his remarks, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Yemi Adaramudu, highlighted the media's critical role in national development.
By creating a platform for dialogue, reflection and training, you are not only strengthening the quality of journalism, but also enriching our democracy. On behalf of the Nigerian Senate, I assure you of our continued support and partnership initiatives that enhance openness, accountability, and professionalism in the coverage of legislative works.
Earlier, Chairman of the Senate Press Corps, Tai Odowale, commended the resource persons for their insights.
Japan stated this at a stakeholders forum held in Abuja. Aniete Patrick has the details.
With food security high on the national agenda, experts and stakeholders gathered in Abuja to assess Nigeria's agricultural research capacity under the theme Agricultural Research Capacities in Nigeria, The Journey So Far. Executive Secretary, Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Dr. Abubakar Daban, stressed that research is the backbone of the country's agricultural transformation. He called for stronger institutions, wider stakeholder collaboration, and adoption of modern technology to boost productivity.
In this new phase of AICA, we are committed to building on this legacy of our predecessor by pursuing initiatives that align with the strategic goals of AICA and the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security.
The Director of Planning, Research and Statistics, Dr. Shuaibu Madugo, and other stakeholders highlighted the evolution of research institutes and their impact on national food security.
Infrastructural capabilities, well, as you can see, we have several infrastructural growth over the years, including establishment of ISO certified laboratories.
The discussions at the forum are expected to provide useful insights to achieving sustainable food security. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
The House of Representatives Committee on Appropriation has raised concern over the slow pace of budget implementation. But key finance officials have assured lawmakers of improved performance before the year runs out. Following a closed-door session with the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the Debt Management Office and the Accountant General of the Federation in Abuja, the committee chairman Abubakar Bichi confirmed that the discussion centered on the 2024 and 2025 Appropriation Acts. Aniete Patrick reports.
Addressing the media, Chairman House Committee on Appropriations attributed some delays to ongoing verification and reconciliation processes and the transition to the extended fiscal framework, but emphasized that key infrastructure projects are still being executed nationwide.
Basically, members are concerned seriously about that, and Minister of Budget and Minister of Finance also confirmed to us that Nigerians can see a lot of changes and developments for this budget. Exactly. And Nigerians are really concerned about the budget implementations, which is co-mandate to the National Assembly. We have engaged with Minister of Finance and Minister of Budget. Both of them acknowledged that, and they agreed to work so hard so that at least Nigerians can see the progress of the budget.
Finance Minister and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, told lawmakers that the 2024 budget is already 80% implemented, with the National Assembly extending its validity to December. He explained that priority projects include grassroots infrastructure such as roads and irrigation schemes.
The budget for 2024 was extended by the National Assembly till December, so it is still running. So it is still a work in progress, it's still ongoing. And likewise, we looked at what is happening in 2025, and we put heads together to ensure that particularly the projects that touch the grassroots, that provide support and provide resources and facilities.
Budget and National Planning Minister Abubakar Bagudu highlighted the strong collaboration between the executive and the legislature, stressing that reforms under President Bola Tinubu are beginning to yield results.
They have supported all the major reform initiatives which have produced the result, including the latest tax reforms. It's an ongoing discussion. The committee and the executive have interfaced, and we appreciate what we need to do better.
Both ministers reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to ensure full and effective implementation of the 2024 and 2025 budgets. The Appropriations Committee says it will continue to closely monitor progress to ensure that Nigerians feel the impact of the national budget. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Minister of Environment Balara Bilawal has raised alarm over the country's worsening air pollution crisis. The minister who raised the alarm at a national dialogue in Abuja to commemorate the 2025 International Day of Clean Air warned that such pollution claims more than 114,000 lives annually. Global Television's Ubong Usoro has details.
The International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies is observed every September the 7th. It was established by the United Nations in 2019 to raise awareness about the dangers of air pollution, promote global cooperation, and encourage countries to take urgent action for cleaner air. Minister of Environment Balarabe Lawal says the federal government's clean air program will prioritize cutting emissions, expanding renewable energy use, and enforcing stricter controls on industrial and vehicular pollution.
Without oxygen, without clean air, there is no way you can survive. Clean air is number one. Once there is no oxygen, none of us will be here. After oxygen, air, then water. So oxygen is number one, and oxygen can only be obtained from very clean air. So that's why.
Delivering the keynote lecture, Professor Chika Dora of the Pediatric Association of Nigeria warned that children are the most vulnerable to polluted air, with rising cases of asthma and lung infections tied directly to exposure.
Pediatrics Association of Nigeria commends your tireless efforts in promoting a healthy environment for all Nigerians, especially children, who are most vulnerable to air pollution.
In a symbolic highlight, the minister joined Nigeria's Climate Justice Youth Ambassador team in a spoken word performance, urging Nigerians to raise awareness and push grassroots solutions for cleaner air and environmental justice.
And even in Abuja, the haze won't stay away. They say air is free, a gift divine. They call it progress. They call it growth. But what is development if it kills us both?
The event renewed call for urgent action to curb harmful emissions, including particulate matter, ozone pollutants, which threaten both human health and environment. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has observed the disturbing trend of premature political campaigns ahead of elections in Nigeria, which poses major crisis to democracy. The Commission's chairman made the observation at a round-table discussion with regulatory agencies and electoral experts in Abuja. Sadiat Yakub has details.
Independent National Electoral Commission Professor Mahmood Yakub explained the problem of early campaigns and inability of INEC and other regulatory agencies to curb the menace within the existing legal framework has necessitated broad consultation.
Around the country, we have seen outdoor advertising, media campaigns, and even rallies promoting various political parties and candidates. These actions and activities undermine the Commission's ability to track campaign finance limits as politicians, prospective candidates, and third-party agents expend large amounts of money that cannot be effectively monitored before the official commencement of campaigns.
Also speaking, former INEC chairman Professor Attahiru Jiga emphasized that elections remain the foundation of democratic development. He says premature campaigns not only breach the law, but also erode the integrity of the electoral process.
All election campaign offenses, and especially premature offenses, should be carefully defined with stiff penalties, specified and strict enforcement where applicable.
Chairman Board of Electoral Institute Professor Abdullahi Abdul Zuru described Nigerian democracy as one in transition and stressed the need for collective solutions to address the challenges.
When aspirants or parties compete to dominate visibility long before the official campaign period, it distorts fairness and raises the cost of political competition. Moreover, it distracts from governance as elected officials become more concerned with sustaining political relevance than delivering public service. Over.
Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, has intensified its crackdown on undeveloped lands across Abuja. At the River Park Estate along Airport Road, the administration, led by the Department of Development Control, has begun demolition of properties whose allocations were revoked after years of failure to develop it. Here is Kabir Hassan's report.
The demolition exercise carried out by the FCTA Department of Development Control follows the administration warning that lands left undeveloped for years risks revocation. At River Park Estate, bulldozers moved in to clear parcels of lands where developers failed to meet development guidelines despite holding allocation for several years. Director of Development Control FCTA, Mukhtar Galadima, says the demolition at River Park Estate is just one of several operations planned across the capital city, assuring that the aim is not punishment but to ensure proper development and sustainable use of land in Nigeria's capital.
One of the recommendations being forwarded was that all undeveloped plots within the estates be reverted back to FCT administration. So we got a report that some developers are hurriedly working day and night to see that they have developed some of the vacant plots. So what we do as an agency, we serve them notice to stop work, and then we withdrew the building plan approval granted.
He noted that the administration has demolished over 30 structures on revoked plots with officials of the development control. He stated that the genuine allottee who comply with stipulated terms have nothing to fear.
But from the report submitted from the work of the committee, it's like, one, there was a development lease agreement which has already expired. Yes.
The administration insisted that the exercise is in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda to restore Abuja master plan and discourage land speculation. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, Nigeria backs a Mosan Broom-led team for Tokyo 2025. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Now to the world of business, where the global oil supply rose to a record of 106.9 million barrels per day in August, as OPEC Plus and non-member countries increased production. The International Energy Agency said Saudi Arabia, Russia, and other producers expanded output, while the United States, Brazil, Canada, Guyana, and Argentina reached their record levels. Despite higher demand, the agency projected a surplus in 2025, keeping Brent oil prices down to an average of $65 per barrel in August. The International Energy Agency expects supply to reach 105.8 million barrels per day in 2025 against a demand forecast of 103.9 million, with the gap widening further in 2026. Director General of the Debt Management Office, Patience Ohia, says reliance on external loans expose economies to exchange rate risk and refinancing pressure. The Director General, who was represented by the Deputy Director, Miriam Omar, made this known at the closing of the 11th Annual Conference of the West African Association of Public Accounts Committee, that is WAPAC. Now to the foreign scene. Ghana has agreed to take in West Africa migrants deported from the United States under President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown, with President John Mahama confirming that 14 people, including Nigerians and a Gambian, had already arrived in the country. He explained that the arrangement was in line with the Economic Community of West African States Protocol on Free Movement, which allows citizens of member states to reside in other countries within the bloc for up to 90 days without a visa. According to him, Ghana had already facilitated the return of the Nigerians by bus, while Gambia is still being assisted, following similar U.S. deportation of African migrants to Rwanda, Eswatini, and South Sudan in recent months. United States President Donald Trump has paid tribute to slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk, describing him as a martyr for truth and freedom. Mukhtar Kasim reports.
In a video posted on his Truth social media platform, President Trump hailed the 31-year-old as a powerful voice in conservative politics who dedicated his life to defending America's values. Kirk, who founded the conservative youth group Turning Point USA, was shot and killed during a public event at Utah Valley University in Utah, sparking grief and tributes from allies across the United States.
In horror, Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth.
The killing of Charlie Kirk has not only shaken America's conservative movement, but has also drawn global attention, underscoring the heightened political tension surrounding his death. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News.
Now to the world of sport. Fans in Kinshasa have vandalized set as the stage this martyr after the Democratic Republic of Congo 3-2 defeat to Senegal in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The Leopards had led 2-0 through goals from Cedric Bakambu and Yoana Wissa before Senegal fought back with a late winner from Pape Matar Sarr. The result put Senegal top of the group on 18 points, leaving Democratic Republic of Congo second on 16 and facing a playoff route to keep their World Cup hopes alive. Now to end Global TV News Express, let's take a look at our top stories. President Bola Tinubu says his meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron at the Elysee Palace was productive, with both leaders reviewing cooperation in key areas. In business, global oil supply rose to a record 106.9 million barrels per day in August, as OPEC Plus and non-member countries increased production. And on the foreign scene, Ghana has agreed to take in West African migrants deported from the United States under President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. And finally, from the world of sports, the National Sports Commission has pledged full support for Team Nigeria ahead of the 2025 World Athletic Championship in Tokyo. That's it on Global TV News Express. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @GlobalTVNG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for watching.